Hello everyone, well I've finally built a new computer now, a new AMD Ryzen 7 1800X, and I'm going to start with one of the first components here, the case. So I've gone for a BeQuiet Silent Base 800. So why BeQuiet? Well, I've had a couple of their coolers before and power supplies, so I thought, well, why not a case? And I'll tell you what, this does look a beautiful case. The black and orange, I thought, yeah, nice new style. So sorry I've gone for stills with this video, but my camcorder is absolutely rubbish. So the box lists some of the specifications. So we have top and bottom covers, 2 decoupled BeQuiet Pure Wings fans. You need to check out which versions of the fans you are getting. The Pure Wings 2 fans are the budget range of fans. Above that you have the Shadow Wings, and above that you have the Silent Wings. The difference between them is life expectancy and, to a lesser degree, the noise. But the life expectancy of the Silent Wings 3 is about 3 to 4 times longer than the Pure Wings 2. We have sound insulated front and side panels. I have got the windowed version of the case, and that is a double glazed window, albeit a plastic window. We have support for an additional 4 cooling fans, so all that comes pre-installed is the 2 140mm front fans and the 1 120mm rear fan. Rubber rails for hard drive to reduce vibration. The terrible mounting point for solid state discs. So what can it take? It is 7 3.5-inch drives and 4 2.5-inch drives. Motherboard tray has large cutouts. There's professional cable management, which is not there really. It is terrible. And there is the option to support liquid cooling. So in the box it was protected by polystyrene and wrapped in the most static-filled bag. I got so many static shocks opening this, it was ridiculous, until I finally managed to get rid of that bag. Bloody thing. There's a couple of feet inside the case which are detachable. The instruction manual, and that is how the case came. It's got a bit of masking tape across the front and some plastic covering the window, so it does look a bit opaque. There's room to put a fan on the side of the case. So how did it feel? Well, the metal is a bit lightweight, but the plastic on it doesn't actually feel too bad. Shows up dust a bit easily and marks with fingerprints, but you know, it doesn't feel too bad. A really good plus here is the dust filters are very easy to remove and clean. So the dust filter here covers the intake for the power supply and an optional 140mm fan mounting point next to the power supply. The instructions are not exactly brilliant, but it wasn't too difficult to work out how to take all the components to pieces, really. You can see the noise dampening material on the side panel. This is behind the motherboard. The cable routing points are nice and bright, this orange colour. Very easy to put the cables through. That it's more of a rubber, really, than a plastic. Very flexible there. The parts provided with a case. So we have 16 screws for solid state discs, that's to mount 4 of them. The thumb screws are for the hard drive, and the orange rubber or plastic there is for the hard drive supports. You do get a few cable ties, and there's a couple of extra screws for the motherboard supports. And there is one stick-on bracket for cable routing, which is poor for this case. This is a shot of the back of the case, and you can see the 2 solid-state disc mounting points. There's a complete lack of brackets to hook cable ties onto. There's only 3 of them in that picture. So that is to cover the power button, hard drive activity, USB 3 and USB 2 ports. The LED light around the power glows orange, and the hard drive activity indicator also glows orange. So how was it getting the motherboard in? An absolute pain. For some reason the alignment of the screws on the left hand side was slightly off. Don't know whether that's the motherboard or the case's fault. There was a bit of a squeeze getting this particular motherboard in behind that fan at the back, but that was more of my choice really, having a rather decorative motherboard. There was enough cable routing holes to provide a decent option with cable routing really, to try and minimise the amount of cabling visible. There's silicone washers there on the fans to help prevent vibrations. That is a very nice feature. This is the build pretty much complete now, and you can see I have 2 hard drives, 2 solid state discs, and 1 5.25-inch drive. And honestly, that amount of cabling inside the case doesn't really look too bad. For the cabling behind the motherboard, you can see I've had to use a few stick-on cable tie holders. It does look a bit messy here, but then I was really limited on choices of where I could actually mount the cables. There was no cable channel path behind here, like I have in my very old Lian Li case. And that is a budget Lian Li case, which I think was actually about a similar price to this BeQuiet case. So while I really like the appearance of the BeQuiet Silence Base 800, I have to admit it was quite a frustration getting the cabling done properly. And it would have been nice if they had included more fans as well. 3 was a bit cheap really, again considering I'm looking at my current case which had 5 fans included and was a similar price as I mentioned. I may not rush back to buy another BeQuiet case. But thanks for watching, I'll see you all later.